The tall, gangly thing?
We've just finished our 6th set of Teamfight Tactics, and with every new set, we're introduced to new players, storylines, and moments that really fuel our love for this game and for this community. In set 6, we saw the rise of players like Solus and Goobums, who went from having some of the weakest tournament performances to the best tournament performances that North America has ever seen. This was the most robust tournament structure to date, and not only did it allow new players to rise up, it also forced us to break the mold of who we considered a tournament threat. In this video, I'm going to break down 5 different players in the North American TFT scene that you should keep an eye on going into set 7. But I will not be doing this video alone. Today, I'm going to be joined by 2 different North American TFT casters who are each going to take a player and give their reasoning for why that player is someone worth watching in this upcoming season. Now, with that said, let's get started. Goobums really made his mark on the scene back in set 4 when he came up as a keeper's one trick. He started to gain a lot of respect from the top players in the region, but his tournament results struggled to follow. In fact, even in set 5, when Goobums won one of the Challenger Series events, there was a bit of an asterisk next to the win because of the checkmate format, where Ramblin was actually the best performer on the day. Goobums had a slew of mediocre results across the competitive circuits of set 4 and 5, but set 6 marked the pivot point in Goobums' career. With strong performances at both the Piltover Cup and the Zone Cup, there were tons of expectations on Goobums going into these major events like the mid-set finale and the regional finals. While Goobums had a very surprising day 1 exit from the mid-set finale, he completely bounced back in set 6.5. Goobums qualified for Worlds with a 3.4 average placement in the regional finals and paved the way for North America with a 5th place finish at the World Championship. And to top it all off, he was unanimously voted #1 in the Don't Talk If You Don't Know Power Rankings. Going into set 7, the question is very simple. Will Goobums remain on top, or will he fall back into the crowd?
Asa really had a hell of a rookie season in set 6. He was hitting Challenger before that set, but never remotely touched competitive, and then just casually won set 6 Challenger Series, which, mind you, was his second Riot tournament he had ever entered. In a final lobby, which was easily one of the most stacked we had ever seen, and this rookie just comes out of nowhere and takes it. He also got 5th in mid-set finale, but did kinda stumble in set 6.5. In the 2 tournaments he entered, Innovation Cup and Regionals, he didn't make it out of day 1 in either. But he did prove he's a tournament threat, no question. He's actually similar to Mismatched Socks in a lot of ways. He thinks about the game incredibly analytically. And for the back half of set 6, he was known as one of the best Innovator players in the server. And he's also pretty stone cold in tournaments, which isn't remotely surprising considering this man is a former poker pro. He finally hit rank 1 on ladder. He is one of the hot new faces in the NA scene. He recently completely committed to full-time streaming and competing. So we'll see next set if the 34-year-old TFT rookie can keep up with all the Zoomers, and honestly, I have full faith he'll be able to.
Goose is a household name in North American TFT. People have known his name from the very beginning and have seen his highs and his lows. Going into set 6, people actually had very high expectations of how Goose would play in the set. However, for the majority of the early sets, specifically in set 6, Goose really failed to produce the results that people expected of him. So much so that by the time the second set of the Don't Talk If You Don't Know Power Rankings came around, he had dropped from 3rd all the way down to 15th. People even started to question whether Goose's style could even be capable of performing in a tournament setting. Goose is historically known for slamming items early, playing very fast and aggressive, and then slowly bleeding out into a top 4 finish. However, a large string of poor tournament results made people feel like maybe this style just doesn't work when you're playing against the best of the best. Going into the regional finals, people did not have high expectations of Goose, despite the fact that he was still considered one of the best ladder players in North America. Goose defied every single expectation of the North American player base, with a 2nd place finish at the regional finals and finishing right behind Goobums at the World Championship with a 7th place finish. Whether it was the small optimizations he made along the way, or the very fact that he started to VOD review before the regional finals, this is the kind of Goose that we can believe will perform in a tournament setting. Going into set 7, all eyes should be on Goose. I don't think that his strong performances were a fluke. I believe that Goose has really made progress in a competitive setting and is going to start turning even more heads going into the next set.
Ramblin has gone from being one of the most underrated players in North American teamfight tactics to one of the best known forces in any tournament in which he enters. And there's a reason for that. Since he started playing competitively in Set 4, he has been by far the most consistent tournament performer. Unfortunately, he's never been able to translate those results to the biggest tournaments we have, and it's not because he's not playing well enough to get there. What we need is for Ramblin to take his studious approach to the game like he has each and every set. He will continue to put himself in an excellent position to be able to make it to Worlds, and then we need Mortdog to bless his undertaking. Just one time more. One time, please give this man the hands he needs to be dealt in order to make the most of them like we know he is capable of doing, because if he makes it to Worlds, he's got a good damn shot at winning it.
Spicy Appies was without a doubt my breakout player for Set 6. He tied for the most tournament games across 6 different events, made final day in 4 of those 6 events, and came in 3rd in average placement among players with 40 games or more. Spicy Appies was certainly one of the most dominant players in the North American field, and to top it all off, was 4th in the final Don't Talk If You Don't Know power rankings. But while there were so many incredible things about Appies' Set 6 performance, I still think that he has something to prove. He had top performances in the Piltover Cup, the Challenger Series, and the Dawn Cup, but he failed to make it to the final day in the 2 large events of the year of the mid-set finale and the regional finals, with a day 1 and a day 2 exit respectively. While Appies' dominance was evident in so many different parts of the set, he ultimately failed to show up when it mattered most. Whether it was nerves, burnout, or honestly just bad variance, Spicy Appies wasn't able to close out his breakout set with a strong performance at a Tier 1 major. Going into Set 7, Spicy Appies does not need to prove that he can be one of the best. It's time for him to prove that he can be the best. I genuinely believe that Spicy Appies has the intuition, the skill, and the work ethic to become the best teamfight tactics player in North America. He is the player that I want representing us on the world stage. And for these reasons, he is a player worth watching in Set 7. North American TFT is full of so many more storylines than the ones we were able to present today. And with every new set, every new patch, every new tournament, it's a chance for new players to rise up and make their mark, and for veterans to prove what got them there in the first place. I'm predicting that Set 7 is going to be a landmark set in TFT history, and it's important that all of these stories are told in one capacity or another. Let me know in the comments which TFT players you'll be following this set and what stories you believe should be told. If you want to stay up to date on all things competitive TFT, make sure you subscribe to the channel and join my Discord. And that's all I've got for you today. Be good, and I'll catch you next time.